time for Sports on the Bayou, a detailed account of the sports scene in Louisiana. Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury will break down the weekly Saints game, brought to you by the American flag, as well as the St. Martin and Bourke weekly LSU breakdown. Harry McCullough will bring us the Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Lafourche Parish segment, featuring key games of local interest. Dr. Pat, our favorite ENT, is always on top of the
asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? Making statements.
Stan Grava will bring us local pertinent medical sports information as well as high school sports. Martin False, that's me, will open up the mics in the crowd to see what's on the fans' mind. More talk and plenty of audience questions. Live from the Eugene and Lorraine Falls studios in Houma, Louisiana, it's time for Sports on the Bayou. And here's Mike Detillier.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another version of Sports on the Bayou. Mike Detillier, along with the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert, Rich Maury. Got a lot to celebrate this week sports-wise, and so we'll be back with a lot more here on Sports on the Bayou.
Was your business interrupted by Hurricane Ida? You may be entitled to compensation. Insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses, or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bourke and Hafiz Duval are partnering together to fight for your fair payout. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bourke and Hafiz Duval help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Here at South Louisiana Bank, we support our neighbors, the organizers, the helpers, the leaders, the dreamers. We support those that move our community forward. Louisiana has grown from the dedication, commitment, and loyalty of the people who call this beautiful place home. We are proud to offer our services to the communities in South Louisiana. South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
Welcome back to Sports on the Bayou. Guys, the Saints went to New England and beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots at their own game, 28-13. Great defensive effort by the Saints. I don't know what I could say more about, Demario Davis, another great game. Marshawn Lattimore, he come playing with one hand, so to speak, terrific. But Saints defensively controlled the tempo of that game, and the Saints were able to run the football. And I think that's Sean's figuring out a new way to win. And other than the two missed field goals by the special teams, you won that part of the game too. And last night, Bobby asked Coach Payton, are you going to be working out kickers? And he gave a long pause, and he said, no, Bobby, we're going to keep Rosas for another week. Another week until Will Lutz comes back.
That's a vote of confidence, a week. You got a week to get it right?
Well, that's the NFL.
That's exactly right. Not for long. But I think, when have you seen Payton lose 2 games in a row or play poorly 2 games in a row? And the other advantage I think they had going into this game is they're playing a rookie quarterback. I mean, good coaching staff will just tear apart. It doesn't matter how good you are, right? And
well, the thing is, as of late, Sean Payton has taken advantage of rookie quarterbs. Now, you have a sample size, RG3 and all, when that wasn't the case, but it depends how the defense is structured. I think right now with Dennis Allen, what they're doing defensively speaks volumes, Mike. That is the strength of the team. Whether you like it or not, and listen, when you can do this, now think about this day and age, how the rules are structured to help the passing game. The Saints won for the second time this season against a quality opponent. When you say the Packers and the Patriots, look how they viewed in the NFL with Winston throwing fewer than 150 yards. This is the 1980s. They would say I would suck if I don't throw for 225. I'm not talking about 300 yards.
They would have said that when you were playing.
Yeah, Mike, that's what I'm saying. Under 150 yards, if I look at this, Drew Brees, for instance, in his 15-year tenure, twice that occurred. Only twice. Well, now Jameis Winston, 2 out of 3 games. So we're a defensive team, but as a fan, you might play fantasy football and you're into all of that stuff, but as a fan, a Who Dat Nation member, don't you want just the team to win? What's an ugly win? An ugly win counts just as an unbelievable win.
No, you spoil rotten.
They all count the same.
You spoil rotten with what Drew Brees has done.
Oh, without a doubt.
You spoil rotten. But I'll take a W because this is a world production league, and that's what it's all about.
Well, the thing is, we win 2 out of the 3 phases. You know where we win? Special teams and defense. And if our offense does not turn over the ball, the Saints are going to win. This is not an opinion. Again, Mike, and I mention this every now and then. I think I mentioned it once last year. Now 2 or 3 games, the trifecta. Now, you might have a few gamblers out there or bettors. The trifecta. When the Saints just caused 3 turnovers on the Sean Payton, 42-6. When they commit 0 turnovers, so they're telling Jameis Winston, you know what? Don't turn over the damn ball. Whatever. 51-6. Scoring defense, 20 or fewer points, 88 wins and 8 losses. Mike, those numbers don't lie, and I tell you, Sean Payton knows those numbers. He knows what it takes to win.
Well, if I knew those numbers before the game, then I'd be even bigger gambling than I am now. We'll go to the highlights of the Saints-Patriots game. Right off the bat, Jameis Winston over the top to Alvin Kamara for the score.
Well, Alvin Kamara, instead of 20 to 25 touches, he has to have 25 to 30.
Mac Jones puts this one up.
He's the offense.
P.J. Williams comes up with the interception.
This is the strength of the team. I'm telling you, our defense is the strength of the team.
And fumbles the ball. It was ruled a touch, but they ruled it back down. Then this one here. Give Marquez Callaway a lot of credit because he's trying to throw this ball away. Ends up being a touchdown. Bobby, you can
if I ever did that, it was like interception for sure. I never was lucky to get a touchdown out of that. Never.
So the Saints defense stiffens up, holds them to a field goal, 14-3. Then Mac to pass, throws it down.
Now this is luck. It better be lucky than good, but look, you set the tone the second half. Malcolm Jenkins, a pick 6. Mike, and you look at Malcolm Jenkins, he's now amongst the leaders with Jackrabbit, who's now with the Titans, with pick 6s. If you look at it, I'm going to talk about it more because then you got the highlights.
And then, again, the defense settles in, forces them for a field goal, a little bit of pressure, and he puts this one up in the air. This was a great pitching catch.
That wasn't bad coverage. That wasn't bad coverage.
You're right there by Debo. Then Taysom Hill with only 10 players on the field for the Patriots. Man, you rarely see a Bill Belichick team that disorganized, and you get a block punt. You get 10 men on the field. You get a couple motion penalties.
Well, Sean Payton beat Bill Belichick at his own game. Think about that. Can you run the ball or stop the run? This is not an opinion. This would happen if you look at just rushing the football. We had 142 yards. They had 49. I'll tell you, Payton loves that more than anything, that he beat Belichick at his own game.
We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafourche.
There are many strengths in our cancer center. I think one of the biggest is patients don't have to go elsewhere to get technology for their diagnosis and treatment of their cancer. Our treatment machine, the linear accelerator, allows us to pinpoint and treat cancers with more accuracy than ever was possible before. Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center provides leading-edge technology with the highest quality care and the best treatment options unique to each patient.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou, guys. LSU 28-25. They made it a little bit too close for comfort, so to speak, but for 3 quarters, LSU's defense was the story. It was bend, don't break.
I think at the end they got tired, Mike. I think they got worn down.
You can't run the ball. You back on the field, and it was 1-2-3 kick, and Mississippi State 2 touchdowns got him back into the game. But, man, it was a really good game plan for 3 quarters defensively. You could tell Will Rogers, he's itchy. Man, he wants to throw the ball deeper downfield. They forced him to throw a lot of those short throws, make the tackle, got him off the field. And the turnovers, too, for LSU were crucial in that football game. And we talk about Jameis Winston having a little bit of the horseshoe. Man, Max Johnson got one, too. We'll see it in the highlights of this game, that he threw a pass that looked to be, it was going to be picked off, ends up being a touchdown.
Well, you talk about big plays, Mike and Rich. I'm looking at like Max Johnson, the first LSU quarterback with 3 touchdown passes of 40-plus yards. You got to go back to Rohan Davey in 1999. He did that against Arkansas. So it's like feast or famine. It's like, whoa, you want big plays by LSU? Well, Max Johnson has been delivering big plays.
I wish they'd give him big plays in the running game, which...
Yeah, he had to help him out.
You live by the pass, you die by the pass.
Yeah.
You got to run the ball.
You got to be able to do it. Rich, I agree with you. Yeah. We'll go to the highlights here of LSU's win over the Bulldogs, 11 o'clock contest. Max steps up in the pocket, throws it. Keyshawn Butte comes up with the touchdown.
That was good pocket presence. You notice how he stepped up and just didn't panic and made the throw.
Then he tries to squeeze one in here. Cardell Flott comes up with the big interception. His best game is the Tiger. No question about it.
Like forced fumble, now that big interception. Great play by him.
Will back to pass, throws it in the middle of the field, makes a big play here to the tight end, breaks a few tackles, gets downfield, but for the most part,
keep it in front of you.
LSU kept it in front and made good tackles. It goes right back to the exact same play almost. And gets us, but LSU's defense tightens up, and guess what? They force a field goal out of it. Then Max back to pass, looking, throw it deep downfield, gets a good push off here, a nice little run up the field. Tigers get a first down. LSU's pass protection was pretty good in this game, and then he lays this one up, and
see, that was a 50-50 ball that against Central Michigan it works. Probably against the SEC.
You got to throw that to the sideline. You can't throw that inside. You know.
Then right over the middle again. Keyshawn Butte comes up with the big score for LSU in a.
That was crucial to start the second half, Mike, to take a 14-3.
Then again, a deep pass, and boy, you talk about busted coverage here, when he could just absolutely walk it in for the score. Man, LSU's got this game in their pockets, 21-3. The defense, though, is starting to tire. Rogers throws it deep downfield.
That was a great pass.
And that was a really good pitch.
That was not that bad a coverage there.
Then Rogers, on a little bit of a busted coverage here, gets it in, 21-10 now.
Is that the time Coach O threw his headset?
That's when he threw his headset. This is the lucky play. You see the 2 defensive backs basically run into one another. That pass was not intended for Cole Taylor. That was for Butte, but hey, listen, you take it at this stage, 28-10. Throw a little wide receiver screen, cuts it up the middle. Big yardage down to the LSU 21-yard line.
Yeah, you would think, Mike, that the game's well in hand, but maybe not.
Then right over the middle, and he squeezes it in. That makes it 28-17. Then LSU 1-2-3 kick, gives it right back to Mississippi State, throws it out in the flat, touchdown. And then, man, they went for a two-point play, which was a bad call, giving it back again. And then again, he fits it right in over the middle. Now it's 28-25, and you got to go for the onside kick, which Mississippi State touched before it went 10 yards.
And he touched it, but why would Mike Leach challenge that? Because you lose
and kill the timeout.
Because you lose the timeout.
Man, Mike's trying to outthink himself there.
Yeah.
At that play.
Because,
you weren't gonna get that.
Well, the coaches up in the press box got to help you out. That no, we're not gonna win that challenge.
That's all young dudes. They need to get an eye check.
Yeah, so we can have the ball back if we can utilize that timeout.
Well, don't they, up in the press box, don't they have aren't they watching the game? Somebody's watching the game up there.
You got 3 or 4 analysts who are in their 20s. They got good eyesight.
No, not that. I mean, just literally watching the TV analysis.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
in essence, they missed that.
They just
absolutely missed it on that particular deal. But again, for LSU, it comes down to this: their defense has played good enough to win. Now UCLA, they got just trashed in that game. But if you can't run the football, you're in deep trouble. And right now, LSU is bailing water in the running game. They get no push up front. It doesn't matter who's running the football. They're getting hit in the backfield.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how good your defense is. It's hard to go 4 quarters and be out there for – I mean, Penn State did it. There were 90 plays, but you can't go out there and be out there more than half.
And now this week, even though it hasn't been officially announced, you're going to play T.J. Finley.
Yeah.
A guy that was at LSU in the spring.
Well, if you look at it the next 6 weeks, it's a meat grinder to say the least. You got Auburn. They look vulnerable against Georgia State. I think they got cheated. But you got at Kentucky. LSU's always had trouble to play at Kentucky. Florida at Ole Miss. I'm intrigued with the Ole Miss-Alabama game. Then you got Alabama and surprise an Arkansas team. How about Big Suey?
In the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All are partnering together to help you during this difficult time. Our hurricane insurance recovery attorneys will fight for you and your loved ones. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Tony Alford and Priscilla Larpenter have been the foundation of what is now Alford & Associates. Their passion and vision have been embedded company-wide. It's not just about insurance. It's about making sure that our community is strong and protected for the next generation.
We analyze and then custom design your insurance policies to fit your business's needs, not the insurance carriers.
It's quite simple. It's the mindset of our organization to protect you from life's hardships.
Your benefits are our business.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford & Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, I'll give it to you, brother.
Check, check. All right, they got me on now.
All right.
We want to thank Joe. Look, he came out here for St. Martin and Bork. He's the lone wolf today because they're all out of town and everything. Y'all give a hand for Joe because he's representing out here today.
Got some big shoulders, Joe.
I heard Joe tell the ladies up front he wants 8 to go. 8 places to go. You bringing it back home, right? All right. And how about Lafourche Parish first before we get to Cody? Y'all give a round of applause for the parish president. Doing a great job over there in Lafourche. I was at the Nichols game. He took a break to go watch the Colonels play. His daughters loved him. Why do you think they love him, Bobby?
Why they love him? Because
Oh, this is dangerous. Mark, you gave me way too much time to think about one word.
No, so
you
why
gave
do they
way
love
too
him?
much
I'll tell
time.
you
No,
why.
why do they love him? Because he does not necessarily probably take his work home. Now he might, so I think he can burn the candles at both ends and separate what he's trying to do work-wise and then be the daddy that he needs to be.
That is a great answer.
That's a great answer. It's not the one Mark
They
wanted.
love him because
Bobby, nice.
they had a wasp flying around the press box, and 6'5" Archie Chesson got up and swatted it down and killed it, and they were all cheering in the press box.
Oh yeah, come on! If you live in the South, they have wasps. They have geps. You know, that's the French thing.
Yeah,
You might have a wasp. It's a gep.
Hey, I'm trying to make the story sound really good.
Okay.
It was a red hornet.
Okay, all right.
All right, we got Cody Gray with Lafourche Parish. Why don't you introduce your guest, Cody?
Sure, absolutely. So thank you for having us here. We're happy to be sponsors again this year. Sorry I didn't make it to the last one. We, as you can imagine, have been incredibly busy right along with everybody. But we have with us from our CVB today, Mr. Ian Wallace, who is our sales and marketing manager. He's been very busy over the last few weeks, along with all of our team. We're all working remotely right now because we did lose, unfortunately, our visitor center and our offices in Lafourche Parish. However, we are rebuilding, but we're all working remotely, and the rest of the team couldn't be here today, but they do send their thanks, and we're just happy to be a part of it.
You know, I have a question for Archie because you were holding them accountable.
I'm glad it's for him.
Now they beat it by a few days, but we have to have electricity back by September. Was it 29th? And then we did beat it, right? Because I know
For the most part.
We still probably got about 2,700 people without power.
Okay, so we're right there. So it looks like it's going to happen, maybe.
Yep, we'll get it.
Mark, another thing too is with Cody, man, he helped us out. World War II Museum. We put him to work that day. We had over 1,500 meals served, man, and they kept him and I, and also Stephen Watson from the World War II Museum, who's a Nichols graduate, but he's trying to pass. He's actually from Scotland. He came here on a track scholarship to hand out meals, and we thank you, Cody. You did a great job.
But wait, listen to this voice. We're going to let him take us to the break. Cody, we're going to look at this camera, say we'll be right back after a short break. Y'all listen to this voice.
We'll be right back after a short break.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafourche.
At Barker Honda, we're overflowing with used cars.
We have over 100 used cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to sell.
Many units under $8,000. Save thousands on light and used certified vehicles.
At Barker Honda, every unit goes through a 120-point inspection.
So you can buy with confidence.
Come see us today here at Barker Honda Used Cars.
Because you know it's better at Barker.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, kick it off to you.
All right, we got to introduce our corporate sponsors, and let's give a big round of applause for South Louisiana Bank in the house today. All right, also Terrebonne General Health Systems, Community Sports Institute, big round of applause. Got Joel and Chuck in their game, filling in today. We got the Prince of Bel Air in the house. Lester Beamer. Lester, who you got with you today?
Of course, I got Coach Don Rodriguez, the best referee in the South, Twin, and the mayor, Wayne Bro.
Now I know how they threw all those games in Thibodeau. Lester took care of them referees, right?
No, Lester always has the big hitters, but Coach
Lester,
Rodriguez,
you ought to let us know about that if you're taking care of referees.
No, let me tell you, Coach Rodriguez, I seen, boy, he lit up when I said GEP.
He knows what GEP
means. We be with the, like WASP and all that.
He knows what it means.
If you were in the come on.
Okay, we cut into Harry's
You know what a
time.
GEP is. Your grandma will tell you, man, the GEP stuff.
All right, let's give it up for Alford and Associates. Hey, one of the great insurance companies around. Okay, amen for them. All right, and then BioPure, they said they're going to start next week. They're spraying buildings and doing all kind of things. So we're going to turn it over to Harry. Big Nickel State win.
Hey, big win for the Colonels. I tell you, it hadn't been a great start for the state. You know, the state's not doing great.
No, Southeast Louisiana is, right?
No, Southeastern
is 2-1.
Yeah.
Northwestern's 0-3.
No,
Northwestern. Hey, man, you got to give more money over there.
Magnesis
that ain't happening.
Deion Sanders went to coach. Maybe you should be coaching.
What?
Tulane's 1-3. Magnesis 1-3. So not a great start, but the Colonels got it turned around in the second half because they weren't playing great, and it was like, oh my goodness, what are we doing with this team?
Yeah, the first half, I guarantee there was a butt chewing at the halftime.
and look, they jumped out to a 14-0 lead. It was 14-0. This was the first touchdown as Blake Deaver throws to Park Driggers for the touchdown. A little while later, it's Deaver again to Carson Swan for 25 yards, and man, we're going, what is going on with the Colonels? You know, we're so used to, now we're spoiled with like little Alabama. We used to winning championships now. But suddenly, they woke up and scored 31 unanswered points. Lindsey Scott goes to Dejon Dixon, 21 yards. That's set up.
That ain't hard, Harry. Just find Dixon.
Just find him, right? Look for him and find him. It set up a field goal. It's 14-3.
Well, look at that beautiful building in the end zone.
Really nice.
I'll tell you, that looks awesome.
So we go to the second half. Here's Scott again. KJ Franklin, 19 yards. And Scott had 14 for 23 for 172 yards. He also ran the ball 15 times for 142 yards. So another double triple for him as he's over 100 yards again. Now this is the play of the game as Devers have him coming back again. Sacked by Noel and Ellis, and he fumbles, and it's picked up by Kevin Johnson. He goes back the other way for the touchdown. That was the turning point. It was 17-14. Now it's 24-14. Colonels had 7 sacks on the day.
Great
and then
catch.
Scott again to Dixon for the touchdown. Dixon had 88 yards and a touchdown. So playing good, and now they'll get into conference play as they will play, who do they play? Next week, I think they're playing Incarnate Word, I think. So the Colonels go into...
Incarnate Word, which is one of the better teams
actually,
in the country.
they play Houston Baptist.
Houston Baptist. They should be Houston Baptist.
Incarnate Word beat McNeese 31-0.
Yeah, 31-0. But Harry, when I look at Lindsey Scott, it's kind of sometimes like Jameis Winston-like. Because he could be unbelievable, then he might make a crucial mistake, but you got to give him Offensive Player of the Week. He accounted for more than 300 yards. He was Offensive Player of the Week in the Southland Conference. That was a great comeback. You know, you might not be impressed with 172 yards passing, but 142 yards rushing.
Double, triple.
I thought that was outstanding considering how you handle adversity. Do you bounce back? And all 3 scores came in the second half. Like you said, they were behind 14-0.
Right.
Coach Rebo, I guarantee you, because I've been part of teams where the coach was like, well, what are y'all doing? It's like, well, you think you're just going to show up? I'll never forget this game. Now, this is a tangent that I'm going to say. There was a 9th grade game, and I still remember this at LCO. We play in Lockport and Sylvester Spears and Darrell Rivas. And, we beat him in the Oaklawn tournament right here. We won all these. We've always beaten Lockport. Then we play them at home. And then all of a sudden, we think we just got to show up. And Tommy Robichaux, he was kind of quiet. Whatever, he was a coach that would just tell you what you had to do. And for him to say this, we were losing like by 18 points. And he goes, well, what do y'all think? You're the Boston Celtics or something? And he was like just chewing us out. And then all of a sudden we came back. We ended up losing by a point, but we ended up coming back. So you remember those kind of things. When you're not living up to expectations and how the coach gives you the business at halftime.
Man, Seal could play, though.
Yes,
Man,
yes.
Seal could play. Harry?
No, that's good. Hey, enjoyed it. We'll see you.
Good wrap up, Barry. Way to wrap it up.
We'll be back with more sports.
Was your business interrupted by Hurricane Ida? You may be entitled to compensation. Insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses, or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hafiz Duval are partnering together to fight for your fair payout. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hafiz Duval help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Bacteria and germs run rampant in the air that surrounds us. It's more important than ever to keep our surroundings clean. Introducing BioPure. Specializing in commercial and residential disinfection applications, BioPure's advanced treatment process allows them to disinfect more surfaces quickly and effectively, with no inconvenience to staff or family members. Let BioPure help you create a better environment for everyone. Call for your free consultation today at 985-322-3003.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford & Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Stan's coordinating and supervising, but he did this little package for us on high school football.
Week 4 of the high school football season is the week that all of our local Bayou region schools get back into action. Ellender High School used Pelche Stadium on the campus of E.D. White for their first home game. Here, Ryan Williams in the first quarter, a touchdown pass to Michael Crawford, and another first quarter touchdown strike for Williams as he throws this one to his brother Royal Williams. Early lead for Ellender of 13-0 in this one. They make it 20-0 here. Another touchdown run. Again, that's Royal Williams around the right end. And then in the third quarter, a dump-off pass to Anthony Foray, and he bowls his way into the end zone. Allendale, first game of the year, first win of the year. They have no trouble with McMain, 40-14. On Saturday morning at Tom B. Smith Stadium, it was Austin Leday opening up the scoring for H.L. Bourgeois. This, a 29-yard field goal. On the ensuing possession for Terrebonne High School, they have trouble on the handoff, and Daquan Watts, big defensive tackle, comes up with the ball for H.L. Bourgeois in the end zone. An early 10-0 lead for the Braves. A big fourth down stop for the Braves. In the second quarter, they shut Terrebonne out of the end zone. They go on to tack on one more touchdown. Luke Lered around right end. He gets it into the end zone for the Braves. And one more field goal for good measure. It's Austin Leday again, this one a 31-yarder, as H.L. Bourgeois shocks Terrebonne High 19-0. Also on Saturday morning in Thibodaux, it was E.D. White all over South Lafourche. Matthew Malonzo on the first touchdown of the game early in the first quarter. 7-0 E.D. White at this point. Then William Gravois takes this handoff, goes around left end. He's going to get it into the corner of the end zone. 14-0 E.D. White again, still in the first quarter. It's Matthew Malonzo again, now in the third quarter. Nice touchdown run as he shows great balance. E.D. White cruising in this one, up 21-0. Then, later in the same quarter, it's Jake Sternfels, a nice pass to Andrew Dewey as the Cardinals show they could do it through the air also. Again, no problems for the Cardinals as they go to 2-0. They win it 36-0. In other games of note around our Bayou region, Thibodaux picks up its first win of the season in its first game against East St. John, a close one, 15-14. St. James, no problem with Assumption as they go to 3-0 on the year. South Terrebonne falls to a tough Live Oak team, 41-21 in their first game. And Vanderbilt, in their second game of the year, picks up a win against a good Breaux Bridge team. They win that one 23-6. Rounding out our Week 4 scoreboard, Central Lafourche gets blasted by Letcher. Destrehan, a big winner over Hornville. Covenant Christian picks up its first win of the year and its first win for head coach Cullen Mathern, 50-0 over Ben Franklin. Central Catholic, a big winner. Morgan City, their first loss of the year. Berwick, their first win of the year. Patterson, their first loss of the year. Donaldsonville stays undefeated, and Ascension Catholic goes down to Vermilion Catholic in Abbeville. An early look at district standings with PowerPoint rankings coming more from what your opponents have done than what you've done. Destrehan, HL Bourgeois, and Thibodaux are undefeated in 7-5A. District 8-4A action hadn't started yet, but Ellender is the only team undefeated in overall play. District 9-3A from our Bayou region may very well be the best 3A district in the state of Louisiana. To this point, the overall record of the teams in this district is 14-3. And lots of really good teams in District 8-1A, although no team undefeated to this point in the season. Two big 7-5A games on slate this weekend. Central Lafourche will be at Terrebonne, HL Bourgeois at Destrehan. Both of those games are Friday night games. Thibodaux will be playing a non-district game against Assumption. Ellender will be at E.D. White, South Lafourche at Central of Baton Rouge. Vanderbilt Catholic will be at St. Charles Catholic. That's going to be a Saturday afternoon start. Letcher is going to be at South Terrebonne. That'll be a Thursday night game. Patterson will be at Morgan City, and Covenant Christian Academy will be at St. John of Plaquemine.
We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafourche.
Curtis Calais Welding has been providing contract labor for the offshore oil and gas industry for over 28 years. Curtis Calais Welding is now hiring. All applicants must have a TWIC card and be able to pass an occupational medical exam and a drug screen. Triple C Towing has a fleet of 2 inland tugs to provide service for the oil and gas industry. All vessels are provided with experienced personnel, and we do what we say we will do. Curtis Calais Welding, now hiring, and Triple C Towing, ready to work.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maudie.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou, and now it's our Dr. Pat segment.
Asking all them questions. Why are you asking all them questions?
Let's give the floor to our Doctor of Curiosity and the voice of the people, Dr. Pat
no
Hagen.
rhythm in this room.
There's a lot of wisdom.
You guys ain't dancing.
A lot of wisdom with Dr. Pat. It's getting ready. We're getting ready
All right,
to be enlightened. We're going to be enlightened right now with Dr. Pat.
Give it to us, brother.
Well, I was talking to Mike and Bobby and Rich at the commercial break, and that, for example, Archie, all the work y'all did to get South Lafourche and Central Lafourche just back to where you can travel the roads. These kids can have electricity, because South Lafourche showed up big time at the E.D. White game in Thibodaux the other day. They were just so happy to get out there and support their kids and to get back to some sense of normalcy, because we know the storm affects us, but these kids worked hard in football. And Mike and Bobby were talking about all the donations people did to South Lafourche and Central Lafourche and the schools.
Game Coin, David Mahler, who I know from Baton Rouge, he called me up and he said, Mike, can I help? And he said, which school should I give money to first? And I said, South Lafourche. And he said, okay, hold on a second.
Central Lafourche guy.
He said, hold on a second. I know you're not a South Lafourche guy. I said, no, I live, in Lafourche, but I understand what happened there. He gave $100,000 to the athletic departments at South Lafourche.
Good.
And then Friday gave $100,000 to Central Lafourche.
Yeah.
So the Chinese would not take that.
Because he made his money in Bitcoin. Listen, don't complain about that to me.
Listen, I'm not complaining. I'm not a communist. I don't care what China says.
That needs to be discussssed. Hold on a second.
No, he ain't no communist, that's for sure.
No, China wants to control everything. That's why they're against this cryptocurrency.
Right.
Because they want to track everything.
Yes.
Now, another Lafourche native, for Coach O, he seems to be allowing the upperclassmen who are not playing well. He doesn't have a problem with letting the freshmen and young kids play, and they're starting to make plays at the receiver position. They're starting to make plays at the running back position. Mason Smith. And so how do you see the kids that are the freshmen now and are coming in and making a big impact on the team, and how does that affect recruiting? Why don't you comment on the impact they're making now?
Well, you're not a rookie anymore. Come on, you've got 3 games under your belt. And so what it tells that freshman is, every freshman I talk to, they think they can play year one. And it gives Coach O that card he can flip down and say, look, I played Mason, Dion, Brian Thomas Jr., Corey Kiner. I'm playing those guys. You come here, I'm going to play the best guy. And he told me I learned that from Pete Carroll. Pete was always like that.
Well, the thing is, it's like you just go out there and compete, the best man up. Look at left tackle position for LSU right now. A true freshman, Garrett Dellinger, his first career start Saturday. Then now I think you want Cameron Wire back in there, but it's like a revolving door. So who's going to step up and take advantage of that situation? You look at Dellinger, a 4-star recruit. Now had competed with redshirt sophomore Anthony Bradford. So a lot of competition. So when you're looking, trying to solidify the offensive line, because you got to be able to run the ball. But the one thing, I think this is imperative, Mike, I think he's coming back for the Auburn game, Cameron Wire, because of his experience. Now, I think this helps.
And
everyone like a Garrett Dellinger and everyone involved. You go like Marlon Martinez, Xavier Hill, Anthony Bradford. This is like a handful of guys. But the bottom line is, when you have the opportunity, do you take advantage of it? And then you get some experience, and then you compete. But I think the best case scenario right now, fellas, you going forward, you need Cameron Wire healthy.
I agree. And Jack Best doesn't play like a freshman, does he?
The way you wire, these kids are wired, sometimes I don't know. You got to push the right buttons. But
that's in any profession today.
Yeah.
Not just football, it's in any profession.
It is amazing that when you look at particular players, how talented they are, how you motivate them. Because it's not one fits all. One person you can get on and they inspired by that. The next person you get on, they play worse. Yeah. So you got to say, keep working. I remember Darren Gilbert from Cal State Fullerton. He was getting his butt whipped. I'd always pat him on the back. I chewed him out one time. He played worse, so I got hit more. So I got to get hit more. So I say, keep fighting. You can be better.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All are partnering together to help you during this difficult time. Our hurricane insurance recovery attorneys will fight for you and your loved ones. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Leg pain, swelling, or ulcers can be signs of vascular disease in the legs. This lack of blood flow can lead to amputation if not treated. Varicose or spider veins may also be signs of venous disease and are more than just a cosmetic problem. Trust the most advanced team of leg pain specialists at Cardiovascular Institute of the South to reopen blockages in the legs and offer minimally invasive in-clinic vein treatments. If you experience leg pain, swelling, or have visible veins, schedule an appointment with us today at cardio.com.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
Back here on Sports on the Bayou, Martin.
You know, a lot of people have been asking me, well, Terrebonne General's normally full house at this show. Where have they been? So I want to feature them today because they're working. They got COVID. They got the hurricane going on. So let's roll in a video to show you where Terrebonne General Health Systems, where they are. You'll get a good feel for it.
Oh, that proof is coming. Holy
This is a big hit to go from 18 months of taking care of COVID and taking care of others to now knowing you need taking care of yourself. Because everybody got devastated in this. I don't think Ida left anybody alone. I gave my team about a 30-day window to see how much we could get done in that 30 days. When an organization has challenges, you got to make sure that you're able to check off a lot of boxes before you open them. Air quality, condensation, making sure that it's got air conditioning, its equipment already been all quality checked to resume. Our ICU unit got hit pretty good with a lot of water. It's on the first floor, but as you can see, we've already got everything stripped to the studs, and we're putting back the sheetrock to get going. We have a lot of drying materials and things all through there, and we're still doing construction. We haven't gone home. We're pushing that envelope. Everything is about the patient and the safety of the patient and the safety of our staff to be able to get people in, and we're going to protect that in everything we do. We brought up all of our medical atrium building, which is all of our clinics. We're real excited about that, which is our pulmonary, which is our endocrinology, neurology, internal medicine, our pediatric clinic across the street. Internal med with Dr. Henry, Dr. Abu, Dr. Chestnut, Dr. Arsenault. It is very incredible. Our docs are willing. It's a lot of practices and a lot of people, and they're out there already scheduling them. The governor came in last Friday, called to say, can you meet? From his level to all of his adjunct people around him have been amazing. We went down to Chauvin because we have a clinic already set up in Chauvin with Dr. Abu, and now we're able to provide pediatrics and endocrinology and several things. But we had people who want to donate food, so we sent it to Chauvin. Going there to feed just 500 people, 400, it was 800. We do have all of our trainers helping out our community schools where they're getting back to sports and different things for our kids. along with our gym that's opening in community sports. And we're trying to bring our employees back. We got great, great people.
So just to answer everybody's question, that's why Terrebonne General's not here. They're still trying to get up. And the only way really to be normal sometimes is you got to act normal. But it's hard to act normal when things aren't normal. So, right, Archie? Y'all know what that's all about, right?
No doubt.
But Archie, you're assuming that you're starting lessons on that.
You're assuming that you're starting out normal
for him.
I'd say you're assuming that you're starting out normal. Many of us around here are not starting out. We don't know what that word means.
Well, the only thing is if you can look.
No, here we go.
Oh,
There we go. See what I mean? See what I mean?
Let me get comfortable.
Okay, listen to what I'm telling you. Because if you could truly talk to like your great grandma or grandpa and all that, they would consider. Now we different today. Because, my cable's not on. What? Okay, cable? Like, what? What? No. If you truly looked at your great-grandparents and all, now I'm talking about over 100 years and all that, if you were not hungry, and, obviously you're thirsty, I want some water, and if you're not hungry, now that's the key, a roof over your head. Mm-hmm. So once you get that, everything else is lanyard.
Yeah, but Bob, they got people in Lower Terrebonne and Lower Lafourche that don't have.
That's what I'm saying.
And don't have running water.
That is the key. You don't want nobody to ever be hungry, and you want them to be able to not be thirsty, and somehow you get a roof over their head.
Hey, listen.
Because if you could get that, everything else is like, what about my internet and my cable and all that? Come on.
For this storm. As bad as it was, we're lucky to have a heartbeat.
And we got a heartbeat.
You're right.
Zero deaths, zero in Lafourche, zero in Terrebonne. That's preparation, because this was a monster, let me tell you.
No, it was a monster. I thought growing up, now I was only in kindergarten, I thought Hurricane Betsy was a monster.
The stick has been raised.
To me, now you look at the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Biloxi Gulfport, Camille was a monster. Mm-hmm. No, so you have, you have to describe what's a serious storm and what's truly a monster.
Well, it's
because the levees broke, Katrina was a monster. This is a monster. Camille's a monster.
Camille was 195 sustained winds. Katrina was less than Ida, but the levees broke.
The levees broke, exactly.
Right. But still, this will go down.
Oh, without a doubt.
This is the benchmark.
The sad part is the rest of the country is already forgotten, and that's the saddest part. And what they won't when they can't get seafood, that a lot of it comes out of here. When the gas goes to $85 a barrel, and we start paying $4 at the pump like they're doing in California.
They had Fouchon.
I mean, that's the sad part.
Fouchon was at 40 and 50% the week after the storm.
Yeah.
That's called getting off your ass and getting to work and getting it back done. We're not like the rest of the country.
We need to shake some heads up there.
No, and then the thing is, we're all the same people. Look, if you look at South Louisiana, whether you're looking at Terrebonne, Lafourche, but really the people even in Lake Charles a year ago, we're all the same people, and look how they've been forgotten. That's why from a national perspective, the government, all that all has to be involved. And that, you know what they look at, what the government looks at, and Biden or whoever it might be? They look at where the population. And it's amazing how they break things down. Now, FEMA, they might do some good things, but the dysfunctional other things.
They're so slow with everything.
But what I'm saying, look how all of a sudden, look at Ida, and how, look at the deaths they had because of Hurricane Ida and with the flooding and all that. But you have to look at, I'm telling you, they look at how many people look at there. And that's why the resources end up going there instead of South.
They need to privatize it. If they privatize it, they bring the Cajun Navy up to FEMA and let them run it and see what happens.
As I'm going to break, Archie gave FEMA the business. one day. And
I heard that.
He really did.
Well, he kept it real.
He gave him the business, and Gordy gave the utility trucks one day. Everybody's taking their turns one day, but it gets them off of their rear end sometimes. We'll be right back.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafourche.
If you have nasal breathing difficulties, snoring, mouth breathing, gritting and grinding of your teeth, TMJ, or headaches during the day, along with fatigue, depression, weight gain, you may have sleep apnea, which can easily be diagnosed via an in-office visit and home sleep study. If you or a loved one are having these symptoms and it's impacting your life, please schedule an appointment with us for an evaluation.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford & Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
That's all for us here on Sports on the Bayou. Thank you for watching. Next week we'll be back with another version of Sports on the Bayou. Bobby, give it to him.
All right, bon nuit, no, it's not a good night.
No, he's messed up on what show he's doing.
I forgot the show I'm doing, but all I know is we got to beat the Giants. The Giants aren't very good. We have to get in a row. But the next 2 weeks we got to beat the Giants and
Washington.
The Washington football team.
Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week.
Who dat?